Crazy Reddit stories. Just found out me of 6 years has been cheating on me. Just found out me of 6 years has been cheating on me. My fiancé 2 for F and 2 for M have been together for 6 years. We got engaged a year ago. She expressed feelings about a year ago of not feeling happy with our relationship, but she didn't know why. She blamed it on my anxiety, and we decided that I would go to therapy. About 2 months ago, we moved into our new house together. Things seemed like they were going well. We both loved the house and the quiet life we had built with the two of us and our dog. About a month ago, we had another conversation that she still felt unhappy and wasn't sure why or what to do. I looked into couples therapists and got signed up for one. We had our first session 2 days ago, which seemed to go well and show promise on building skills of our relationship. But last night, she confessed to me that she has been seeing someone else. I first noticed she was texting this guy a few months ago and called her out on it, but she said that I was insecure and that it was just someone from her work that she needed to text to plan a project. She lied to me about who it was and lied about her whereabouts when she met up with him at least 20 times in the last 2 to 3 months. They even went on a weekend road trip together when she told me she was doing a trip with her friend. Thought this person was my soulmate, and I feel like my world is crashing down. I love this person and care for her, but at the same time feel so much anger and disgust. I thought I knew her and thought I had my life all planned out. I can't afford this house on my own, and I don't want to lose my dog either. I don't want to start all over, but I know I deserve better. I feel so much pain and confusion right now. I can't believe that I was so oblivious and didn't see this coming. What should I do? Response: I'd suggest breaking up with her. It's difficult, but the cons outweigh the pro. Loyalty is the foundation of all relationships, and clearly, there's already a crack. Now, what if she becomes pregnant? Can you be sure it are yours? How about child support? How about possible STDs? We don't know if the girl or guy has other partners. Lots of legal issues as well, if you become married. So for me, better to start fresh and alone, rather than have a liability that can destroy your life. King, you deserve better. Just curious, what is her explanation? How does she justify what she has done? Does she still see this guy? Also, I will bet she knows there is a really big chance you want to break up. I hope your finances are spilt. If not, start this process. Also determine what you can buy or lease when you move out. Can she buy you out? If not, tell her you want to put the house up for sale. Get the ring back. She has to give it back. Do not fall for her tears, if she has any. Those will be crocodile tears. You will get through this. Sorry that you are going through this, but be firm in your resolve to break up. This isn't something that can be fixed. It's not as if it was a one-time deal that she confessed to within a few days. This is a long-term affair with plenty of lying. Just tell her and her AP to have a good life together and be done with it. I need guidance. My GF23F was apparently blacked out and ended up making out with a guy who apparently was being weird, took advantage of her. My GF spilled to me that a week or 2 ago, she was out without me with a group of people from college. She ended up making out with this guy, but she was blacked out, and he apparently kinda forced himself on her, was responsible for initiating it. This is a guy who she admittedly had sex with back in college, years ago at this point. She also said she had already blocked him on everything and deleted his contact info after this went down. I'm still processing now, but it's starting to hit me. Girls, can you tell me your perspective as a female and what you think of it? Guys, what do you think? Update. My GF23F apparently blacked out and made out with another guy. I pressed her about the whole situation further and came to the conclusion that she made out with him briefly, but realized her mistake and they did not end up having sex. That part I believe. She's also very sorry and really wants to stay with me, and she promised she would do anything to make things right. However, there are other details that are still foggy, and the more I learn, the more I realize it seemed like she let this happen and allowed herself to be in this situation. I ended up cutting things off her. The right person wouldn't have put themselves in that situation in the first place. If anyone has advice for moving on from this, it's welcome here. Edit. I must add that I texted one of her friends telling her why we broke up, and she said that she's cheated on every BF, so she's not surprised. Response. The right person wouldn't have put themselves in that situation. That's called respect. People think trust is the most important aspect of a relationship. No, you have to respect your significant other first. You respect them by not putting yourself in a situation where trust can be questioned. I'm so glad you made the move, and sorry you have to feel the sting. It will feel better, just remember that. You're so right, the right person would never put themselves in that situation. Pick up healthy hobbies that will keep your mind busy and heal, so you don't have doubts with the 1s to come. Block her and don't reach out for any reason. It'll only be an unhealthy cycle. But you broke the cycle. Keep your head strong, friend. You absolutely did the right thing by kicking her to the curb. Her friend just confirmed your decision by letting you know she is a serial cheater who clearly isn't cut out for commitment. Too bad her friend never gave you a heads up beforehand, but oh well. Block and proceed onward. Let this be a lesson learned. Conflicted desires. When the heart wanders. I have a crush on someone. I'm married, and he also has a girlfriend. He's my husband's personal assistant, but he also drives me home. It all started when my husband lost his affection for me. I felt like I had been chasing him for so long, but recently, it's as if he doesn't care anymore. Every time I try to be intimate with him, he always has an excuse, saying he's too tired. That's when I started to notice his assistant. Whenever he drove me home, we would casually talk about life, joke around, and share random, nonsensical conversations. Over time, I began to notice things about him like his eyes. I realized we often shared long eye contact, and when our hands touched accidentally, I'd feel butterflies. I started paying more attention to myself, choosing outfits that flattered my body and wearing perfume whenever he was around. Recently, we had a party where we were drinking, and I caught him looking at me. When I met his gaze, I could see longing in his eyes. But then I remind myself, I am married, and he has a girlfriend. Out of curiosity, I asked him why he hasn't married his longtime girlfriend yet, and he said he just isn't ready. Lately, I've found myself fantasizing about him, even dreaming about him. I imagine him making love to me when my husband isn't around. I've always been against cheating, but after being deprived for so long, I feel like I'm on the verge of doing something stupid. Response. This right here. There are many options before adultery. Don't be in the same line as those who are unfaithful. Tell your husband how you feel about his disinterest in you, and that, if things don't change, you'll have to leave the marriage. So you'll be free to find someone who gives you what you need. Here's some advice. Fix what you started and focus on your marriage before looking at the greener grass somewhere else. You're opening the door to being a homewrecker. Would you want another woman with a crush on your husband to act on their crush? Would you want your husband focusing on his crush? I imagine not so. Have some integrity and separate yourself and put what's right before what's easy. Sit down with your spouse and have a full communication with him. Tell him that you feel that he doesn't love you anymore. And if that is the truth, then you would like to amicably move on. Only after divorce and getting the personal assistant to break up with his girlfriend can you make a move with him. Also, you have already cheated by fantasizing making love with him and dressing up and wearing perfume for him. Your marriage is over. And at this point, I don't think you want to remedy things with your husband anymore, as you want someone else now. Caught my best friend cheating on her partner, and now I don't know what to do. Hey Reddit, I'm feeling really conflicted right now and need to get this off my chest. So, a couple of nights ago, I went out to this party with some friends. I wasn't even planning to stay long. But something happened that's been haunting me since. My best friend, let's call her Sarah, was there with her boyfriend Mike, who's honestly a great guy. They've been together for over 3 years, and from what I've seen, he absolutely adores her. At some point during the night, Mike went home because he had work early the next morning, but Sarah stayed. That's when I noticed her getting really close to this guy I didn't recognize. At first I thought maybe they were just friends, but then I saw them sneak off to a quieter part of the house. Curious, and honestly a bit concerned, I followed them and saw them kissing. I froze. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't confront her right then because I was in complete shock, so I just left the party. Now, I'm stuck with this huge dilemma. Do I tell Mike? Do I confront Sarah, or do I just stay out of it? I hate the idea of being involved in someone else's relationship drama, but I also can't shake the guilt of knowing what I saw. Sarah doesn't know I caught her, and I've been avoiding her calls ever since. Mike has no idea, and he's been texting me casually like everything's fine. It's tearing me apart because I genuinely like Mike, and I feel like he deserves to know, but I don't want to ruin my friendship with Sarah either. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Do I speak up, or is this one of those times where I should mind my own business? Response: I would tell Sarah to confess, or you will tell all. Then I would text Mike that she has something to tell him. Something along the lines of after she does, please contact me to confirm. I wouldn't blame you for snooping then. I'd honestly walk away from that friendship. I can't trust people who aren't honest. The right thing to do is to confront your friend about it and give her a chance to either explain herself. Maybe he knows and he is okay with it, or to give an opportunity for her to come clean with him. If it was me, and I'm really glad I am not in your position really, but I would have a little chat with her and tell her that you've seen her doing this with this guy. And she had 24 hours to tell her boyfriends, or you will. I would just say, how could you do such a thing to someone you have been with for 3 years? And he trusted you and let you stay at the party, and this is what happens. Not cool. It might end your friendship with her, but do you really want to be friends with someone that can lie so easily? It makes you wonder if she ever lied to you about anything. This way, he will find out one way or another. I think she should have to face this head first. The way she will find out what he wants to do. Or you should just tell him yourself, but don't let her know that you told him. But then again, it comes back on, do you really want to stay friends with her? Can't tell if my BF cheated the other day. I20F saw text messages on my BFS 26 meters. phone where him and his ex had met up for dinner recently. Initially, I wasn't alarmed, besides the fact that I couldn't recall him telling me he was going to have dinner with her. I'm a very forgetful person. Sometimes I have trouble remembering things after a car accident, so I figured I must have just forgotten that he had told me. That's when I went on my phone to check my messages with my BF to verify if I had forgotten anything he might have mentioned about meeting his ex. That's when I saw that he had told me he was just going shopping during the time he was actually out with his ex. Even though I have been cheated on many times in prior relationships, I was still taken aback by this stream. I have many insecurities after being cheated on, but I was never suspicious of my BF until this moment. I confronted him, and he admitted that it was a stupid thing to lie about, especially since he knows that I'm okay with him spending time with his ex. He told me that he's been treated badly and judged by his ex and his prior relationships, which led him to believe I would judge him or start a fight about him and his ex having dinner. We had a sincere conversation where we both cried and comforted each other. Since this discovery, I've been really depressed and upset with myself. Some of my friends say that since he lied about going to dinner with her, it's considered cheating. Some say it's not cheating, since I don't believe anything intimate happened between them. I'm kind of at a loss trying to decide what it is. On one hand, I feel like it's cheating to lie about it, but on the other hand, I understand his fear in telling me the truth due to his trauma from his past. I'm not sure how many people will see this post, but if anyone has any advice or comments, I'm very interested. We had a sincere conversation where we both cried and comforted each other. Since this discovery, I've been really depressed and upset with myself. Some of my friends say that since he lied about going to dinner with her, it's considered cheating. Some say it's not cheating, since I don't believe anything intimate happened between them. I'm kind of at a loss trying to decide what it is. On one hand, I feel like it's cheating to lie about it, but on the other hand, I understand his fear in telling me the truth due to his trauma from his past. I'm not sure how many people will see this post, but if anyone has any advice or comments, I'm very interested. Response: you both have trauma from past relationships, but then again, to build a good relationship, you need to have trust and openness. The only thing I can say is to give him the benefit of doubt and just wait and see. His excuse did sound a little manipulative. Can you say why he chose a 20-year-old and he 26? You might want to check into that. Shoot, I'm debating if it was cheating for the fact my BF texted his ex happy birthday because he deleted it and didn't tell me. Hanging out with someone he used to sleep with and lying to you about it would raise my suspicions that it's not the first time. If you stay with him, you guys need to make it 100% clear where you both stand on if he lies again. If he's dishonest again, you need to hold up your end of the bargain and break up with him. My sixth sense to 6F was so spot on about my BF, 26M. Last December, I felt terrible about one of my boyfriend's co-workers. She's a 27F. I hadn't even met her yet, but for some reason, I was getting really negative vibes about her. I tried to ignore these feelings because, after all, I hadn't met her and wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Fast forward a year, and I found out through a Reddit forum that my boyfriend did cheated on me with her. He made a post confessing that he had kissed her and had felt some interest in her hand. This happened last November, a month before I started feeling that gut-level discomfort about her. I came across the post, and even though it was anonymous, I knew it was him. The worst part is that I had been trying to build a friendship with this girl, completely unaware that she had stabbed me in the back in the most hurtful way possible, and the cherry on top. This woman doesn't seem to feel an ounce of guilt She still messages me, tries to engage with me, and keeps trying to remain in contact with my boyfriend because, of course, they're co-workers. Oh, and she has a boyfriend, a poor, good guy, who has no idea what kind of person she really is. Honestly, I feel for him because he doesn't deserve this, either. And please excuse my language, don't usually curse people out, but goddamn, I don't even know how to feel anymore. I feel absolutely disgusted, betrayed, cheated, and ridiculed. I was trying to build a friendship with someone who was treating me like a complete fool, something I am not. It makes me furious. And then there's my boyfriend. He's the one who completely shattered my trust. He messed up in the worst way, and yet, he's also the man I considered the love of my life, the person I wanted to marry and build a family with. But seriously, how am I supposed to get over this? I want to move past this, but I'm at a loss. Therapy is definitely on the to-do list, but until then, I just need help. I truly love him, and I just truly want to find a solution, but I just need some advice and thoughts. What do you guys think? Response: they are sneaking around and find it fun and exciting, at your expense. The other poor fellow has no clue. You don't owe them the courtesy of respect. Let the light of truth shine on their lies and deceit. You are not a fool for trusting him, but you are a fool if you keep him. You have to answer for yourself. What tempted him? Many decisions were made leading up to them acting on it. You will never get an honest answer from him on this. Not trying to dissuade you or encourage you, but something went wrong. You should make sure someone clues in the nice guy boyfriend. It's not fair that he doesn't get the chance to make an informed choice as to whether or not he wants to be in a relationship with a thirsty cheater. Your boyfriend didn't actually confess to you, so I don't think you have the full story of his relationship with his AP. So he told you she is insufferable. He told you it was only once, but he posted all about it in Reddit. They are still co-workers. They are still at it, but hiding it better. Have a dinner party with the other couple in a public place and do as another stated. Let the other BF know just how close those two have been. After, the two of you should leave together. You might want to clue him in beforehand to check his GF's phone messages. Cheating girlfriend tried destroying me. Hey there, I'm a 30M, and my 25F girlfriend, who is now turned wife, have been together for nearly 4 years, and whilst we was both very skeptical over the age gap, we figured we are both consenting adults at the end of the day, and as the years go by, that gap will feel much smaller, but I couldn't be more happy than now. She has saved me from a potential life of womanizing and just hating the concept of love, and shown me that there is still a reason to believe in myself. So, at the time of writing, I'm a very happy husband. A year before her, I was in another relationship for about 5 years, with a girl my age, and it was safe to say I was being abused. I did things wrong to which didn't contribute any benefits to situations, and I am still ashamed I even put my hands on her. Even in retaliation, that I'm deeply ashamed of and admit guilt on some part. But I was constantly in arguments over the smallest of things. She pulled a knife out on me. She nearly broke my ribs with an iron bar. She would take her mood out on my family and ignore them when they tried talking to her. She didn't even like my cat, simply because the cat used to be really close to me, and Kitty felt jealous of her, and I'm a huge gamer myself, so when our relationship went really sour, I asked her if she wants to play offensive, and she, as a gamer, agreed to play. I was so happy that maybe our relationship could finally get mended in some way, so we got to playing it together. Sometime after we fell in with a guild, and she slowly started getting more distant. And it turns out, she was trying to cheat on me with this random-ass guy in the guild. So when I confronted her about why is she flirting with him, she just immediately ended our 5-year relationship, and it broke me and telling me, but he listens to me. She later on tried spreading hate about me to everyone with that dude. But they ended up leaving because everyone couldn't believe what she did to me and had my back. In a final ditch attempt, because of my idiocy, she logged into my Facebook from when I used to use it, and she edited a message with a friend to make it look like I slept with a 15-yo when I was over 18-yo by removing the time frame. So when I was confronted with this actual message showing I was actually a minor myself and was 16, completely destroying her accusation about me. Reminder to never let anyone know your passwords for your own safety. After that, I just completely broke contact with her, never spoke to her again, and removed her from everything. Last time I had any news about her is when my mum saw her a few times, one with the dude I think she cheated on me with, and the other time she had a baby in a prom and a man with his t-shirt off at a bus stop. It wasn't even a hot day. So safe to say, I ended up becoming stronger and better out of this. P.S. I'm still absolutely pissed she stole my entire DS collection and all the games and items she bought me when we stopped living together. Response: I'm glad you did, my man. It's crazy what love can do to you sometimes, as I truly believed we would have got better over time. Also, as much as I still am ashamed, I did lay my hands on her. I can happily say there was never any other girl who I did. I will carry that shame always, but my wife now helps me try and understand that it doesn't make me some woman beater, and she knows it'll never hurt her either. Me and my wife play games together, or watch each other play on the daily. We are legit like best friends, and share so much in common, yet we are the complete opposites in some ways, which benefit our relationship or gaming time. Example, I love snipers, whilst she loves shotguns in games, meaning I can cover her. That's sort of opposites. My BF cheated on me, and I stayed. I regret it, but we live together, so I'm stuck. This is my first post, so please be patient, lol. So in October of 2023, I found out my boyfriend, 25 meters, cheated on me, 23F. In March 2023 with a co-worker. The background: my mum was visiting me in my city. She's 4 hours away, so she was staying the night and we were going shopping. At this point, I was not paying rent since I was living at a house my parents bought for me for college. My boyfriend was staying at the house for free, so out of respect for my mum, I asked if he could go to his parents for the night in the same city as us. Instead, he suggested he would go to the hotel some of his friends, co-workers, were staying at. I knew they went to the pool and were drinking, but I thought that was it. I didn't think he would ever cheat on me. I even met and hung out with this girl and her friends at an amusement park in our city. At one point, while she was in the same city as me, I remember seeing some texts on my BF's phone that were not his usual texts to me. Think excessive emoji use, lol, etc. He usually types very straightforward. I didn't think anything of it, and when I went to look for them again, I didn't see anything. Looking back, he probably deleted them. In this time, my BF lost his dog, and in his words, thought that I did not support him through that. I went with him to the emergency vet and cried and held him. He pushed me away, emotionally, not physically. This is important to the story, as he will use it as an excuse to why he cheated, among other things I will tell you later. How I found out: she texted me in the morning of October 11th with "Hey girly" text. I'm sure she found that amusing. She knew about me BTW. She told me that he made it seem that he was over your relationship and that he was getting ready to leave, even though he had never once told me this. I immediately call him and ask him, "What did you do the night you went to the hotel?" He said, "Drank and slept." I said, "What else?" And then he admitted it. He was at work during this, so he came to our apartment. We had a long discussion, and I initially wanted to break up. He was on board, but then I guess he didn't want to. So he asks for another chance to make things right, and he sleeps on the couch. That night he goes out and gets me flowers that I tossed in the trash, BTW. For a week, he does things to make it up to me, and it works. I forgive him, and we're back to normal. Our agreement was that he had until the lease at our current apartment was over. But there's more. I push him to see the texts, BT him and her, and the Snapchat messages. This is more of what she sent me, BTW. He stayed with me in my bed and we had sex. The other 2 times he made excuses to stay with us at the hotel was to stay with me and have sex. I am extremely sorry. He made it seem that he was over your relationship and that he was getting ready to leave. Even after I left, we were still in contact. He actually made a plan to come see me after his trip home. He said that he wanted to put some action into his words. Little did I know that it was the same weekend you all were moving into your new apartment. I saw proof of these texts and I still, like a dumb asterisk, decided to forgive him. Whatever. Anyways, we worked on our relationship, tried online therapy, which was bull. And eventually we moved into our current apartment together because I thought things were fine. During this time, our intimacy had dwindled. Now, in our current apartment, we haven't had any intimacy for like 4 months. Our lease doesn't end until September 2025, and subletting isn't an option. I have already checked out of the relationship. I have fallen out of love and slowly started to detach myself. I don't know what to do. I can't break up with him because I can't afford to pay rent on my own on this place. Breaking the lease is $8,400. Some other points. He had changed for the better for maybe 2 months after I found out. But then everything went back to normal, if not worse. Like the way he treats me is so nonchalant and uncaring. No words of affirmation, no gifts, no reassurance, even though he's the one that cheated. He doesn't respect me or my decisions or my cats. He talks to me so rude and mean and acts like he did nothing wrong. Response: girl, run from this guy. Don't waste your time with a guy like this. I was in the same situation few years ago. After we graduated college, we decided to move in together, and after a few months, I found out that he cheated on me. It was hard at that moment. We broke up, but we're stuck living together. I decided to forgive him, and he did it again and again. After 7 years, I decided to just let him go. Don't do what I did. Waste so much time waiting for a boy to grow up and change. Now I'm single and happier than ever. I have more time for myself. I can sleep better at night knowing no one is stabbing me at the back. One day you'll realize that it's better to be happy alone than being in a relationship that makes you feel lonely. Yes, just take the time to take care of yourself. I'm single for 10 months now, after being in a relationship for 7 years. It's a great feeling that you don't have to think about someone cheating on you or talking to anyone. When I found out that my ex cheated on me, even I don't have a peace of mind. Now that I'm single, I won't let anybody take my peace of mind ever again. You know how many leases I broke in my 20s by just packing up and walking away, leaving the keys with the management. You have plenty of time to recover from breaking a lease or BK, and all that, which would be better than sticking around with this guy. I'm sorry for what you're going through. Do you have a place to go, maybe parents or friends? As soon as you leave, the better. Maybe when he's at work, You and a few friends can clear out your stuff and leave. I hope you find happiness with the right person in the future. Spouse cheating through text. So, my wife 30 and I 35 got married in 2019. We've been together since 2016 and have a young child. Lately, my wife and I haven't been as connected as we have in the past. How my situation started. Our child likes to play games on our electronics, and one day after he was done playing in my wife's, I went to close it and charge it when I notice a message from a guy she's mentioned before, but I never thought much of it. I decided to look and read through their messages, and, what do you know? She's texting him messages like "Good night, butthead," or "Good morning." Additionally, she's bashed me to him, saying I don't support her, or I put my job first. She's said worse things to him as well. Lets the guy bash me, lies to him if I FaceTime her, and says it was our child. I've looked at their texts twice now, and it frustrates me. Even though I don't see sexual texts. But I haven't read everything out of the anger I get reading only some of them. Now, she's hiding notifications from him. She doesn't think I know, and it's eating me inside, because I've done nothing but support her and put her first. I've turned down job opportunities for her because she has health issues and moving is not in the cards for sake of her health. I've brought it up before, saying I've read a Snapchat story about spouses doing this kind of stuff, and she even stated she would consider it cheating because they are flirting with someone else. I don't know what to do because we are going on vacation soon and it's the holidays. I also worry about her health because if I do leave her, her medical care would suffer. My income also makes up the majority of our joint income, so I'm not worried about that, but she would have nothing, which I care because of our child. My job does not support being a single father, so that also weighs heavily on my mind. I'm stuck. I'm not sure what to do. Update: meeting with a family law attorney after the holidays to figure out my best path forward. Many of you have said things that resonate with my feelings. Yes, I'll love her regardless, as she gave me my son, but that love only extends that far. The connection we had before is gone, and frankly, I don't know if I want it back anymore, as my mental health is more important. Thank you everyone for your words of wisdom. Response: first take screenshots, then get petty. You should say you read a Reddit story from the guy's point of view. Like I'm flirting with this guy's wife, and she keeps bashing him sort of thing. Put specifics that you saw in the texts. Watch her panic. Up. Maybe you could start going to therapy, and when she asks why you're going, tell her you feel like you could be a better spouse, and when she asks you why you think you could be better, just allude to some of her complaints to her AP, but don't let her know where you came up with it. Make it seem as though you just thought it up. You might even mention you are wondering what divorce might look like if you can't do better. Call her out on it. Then throw divorce into the conversation. She can hide what she wants, but if you're both on the same cell phone plan, you can get all the calls and texts through your provider. Start collecting as much evidence as you can to protect yourself. Maybe consult a lawyer just in case. There is no respect from her. She is for the streets. Hell, show her this thread. Sorry op, it's not looking good. You know your WW is cheating and has no respect for the things you do. I think you know it's time to divorce her. She's very selfish, and maybe it's your turn to respect yourself and your child and divorce her. Gather evidence of her texts bashing you and her affair. Don't worry about what it'll do to her. Think about your mental health. I thought the same thing about my ex-WW and stayed. What a mistake. and I suffered so many years for it. Don't be me. She made her bed. Let her sleep in it, without you. I am M25, GF31. This is a hell of a story. Get your popcorn and opinions advice ready. Me and my GF been together since the mid-late year of 2020. Our first problem was she wanted to hang out with a friend of hers, who I was okay with her doing so. But eventually friend A also included her boyfriend B. He wasn't the type of guy I'll hang with, so I didn't want to be a part of their little group. The guy B was supposedly my GF boy best friend and A was her girl best friend. A and B are dating. All three would go out and do whatever. Even took a trip to another state in 2021. I didn't think much of it, but my GF would bring up B in our conversations, and I got irritated with that and told her cut B as her boy best friend, but she could still hang out with A if B is not around. Series of events happened and I asked my GF if B was there while she was out with A. She replied no. I ended up finding out that B was at multiple places with them, but I found out weeks, months later. On 3 to 4 occasions, I found out she lied by saying B was not there when he was. So, as a man, I felt a type of way with her lying about that. And I felt that if she lied about who she is around, she'll lie about cheating. So, I cheated to help ease my mind about my GF lying to me multiple times. My GF found out I cheated and I told her it was due to her lying multiple times to me. So she would always bring up the fact I cheated on her in an argument and that she didn't cheat, just lied. Well, I get locked up around the mid-end of this year and found out that she was asking A about a guy who I was unfamiliar with, named C. I confront her about it, and she says, nobody, he's B cousin. Well, earlier in this post when I said that she took trips with A and B, guess who else was with them, C. Long story short, she tells me that she fucked him, and that she cheated on me with him, and that she cheated before I cheated. That trip she took with A and B in 2021, and that her and C had sex multiple times. But she says she didn't mess with him in 2022 and 2023, but she asked about him in 2024, for days after I was in jail. Now the trust in the relationship is at the lowest of lows. I don't look at her the same. Should I end the relationship? We have 2 kids together, under the age of 6. Response: the relationship was over when she lied about hanging out with B, because ultimately she never cheated with B, but cheated with a C and still lied about B. And the nail in the obvious coffin was when OP cheated because she lied. For one, that is messy AF and IDK, where you thought the relationship would go after that. She is a liar and cheater. You cheating wouldn't have suddenly given her a conscience. And if you have to get that petty and stoop that low in a relationship, then that relationship is pretty much dead and should be buried, never to be risen again. No amount of love should force you to stay with a cheater, and no amount of insecurity should make you cheat on a partner. Respectfully, I would end the relationship if the thought even crossed my mind. There is so much pain that comes from that level of betrayal, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, let alone someone I claim to love or respect at some point in time. You aren't unlucky. Many people just genuinely suck and use relationships to validate themselves, rather than use them to form bonds built on mutual love, respect, and honor. Cheaters don't want a committed relationship, but are master manipulators, and unfortunately, we fall for it. No fault of ours. They are crafty little b*** chess, and are only becoming more creative as time goes on. You both can still have an excellent co-parenting relationship just for the kids, outside of that potential toxic environment. Don't feel like you're stuck with her. Let her have wish you the best in your next relationship. 7 anonymous phone calls. I was in the truck with my boyfriend and he received 7 phone calls, back to back, from an anonymous caller. He did not answer them, and when I asked, he physically turned his phone off, so nothing else could come through. I asked him who it was and he said he didn't know. Then he told me it was probably a crazy girl who wanted to be with him, but he didn't want her. Then he proceeded to say, "Oh, maybe it's so-and-so. Or maybe it's my crazy ex-girlfriend who is supposedly married." His reaction to the entire thing is telling in itself. But clearly something is up. We haven't spoken in 3 days, and I don't plan on speaking to him again. What would you do? Make sure you haven't left anything at his place, and then leave it at that. No one quits 7 in a row calls, and then beats about the bush on what type of girl. It is without knowing it's his dumb sneaky link that didn't realize he was busy. You're afraid of the unknown. You seem to be afraid of the change dumping this cheater will bring. There is nothing wrong with being single. Yes, you may love him, but you have to love yourself more than you do him. And remember, he doesn't love you. Don't wait until he decides to leave you for one of his side pieces. It's time for you to choose you. Yes, once you have all your stuff and you're completely separated from him, make it a full break. 0 contact. Block him on everything. Don't give him a chance to lie and try to manipulate you into taking him back. That's how people end up with STDs and such. They are manipulated into getting back together, but he will never, ever be faithful. That is where the saying, once a cheater, always a cheater comes from. I had a GF many years ago who couldn't keep her legs closed. She slept with 2 of my friends at the same time, and then she slept with multiple boys from the local welfare projects. 2 of them were underaged boys. She was 21. Needless to say, there was a rash of the crabs going round. Unfortunately, I received them, and my 2 friends got them, along with their 2 girls' friends. She was giving them to everyone. Thank God that's all she gave me. Those 2 mothers were looking for her, and came knocking on my door. They were looking to have her thrown in jail for doing it with a minor. Why? I wouldn't give him a second chance. It sounds like your reaction to not wanting to talk to him again indicates there may have been other things in your relationship that have sparked suspicion or mistrust. I wouldn't give him the time of day in that case. He's probably coming up with some good stories to account for his behavior over the past few days. So if he does reach out, I would take whatever he says with a grain of salt. Go out and have fun and do fun things with friends. Go to a bar and dance yourself silly. Whatever it may be, living a full and happy life without him will be the best revenge. But if you're too weak that you'll reply and start talking again when he reaches out, then block him. I'm happy you aren't wasting more time and trying to ignore the obvious right in front of you. I mean, his lies about it aren't even good, so to stay with him would be hella embarrassing, lol. Reminds me of a time me and my boyfriend were watching a movie about his phone, and he got a random message saying, "When you going to come over again?" And then another one coming after that saying, "I miss your D." Chopped it up to someone, kid playing on his phone. It was, in fact, not some kid playing. Always trust your gut feeling, friend. You would not ever feel unsure if he really was faithful. So sorry you're going through this. Most people just really suck inside and out.